Yellow Jackets is Bobby Cremins. His club has gone through a tremendous non-conference schedule to get ready for the ACC, and so far so good for the man from Atlanta. For the Duke Blue Devils today, Ricky Price, Timon Donzowski, Greg Newton, the starters up front, and the powerful backcourt in terms of point production with Jeff Capel at a team-high 16.3 and Chris Collins at 15.5, but neither shot the ball particularly well down at Clemson on Wednesday. The head coach of the Blue Devils is Mike Krzyzewski, lifetime 23-13 against Georgia Tech. When we come back, we'll have the tip-off to today's ACC matchup, Georgia Tech and Duke from Cameron, right after this. Duke leads the all-time series, you see, 37-18. They've won 4 of the last 5, and this has been a house of horrors for Georgia Tech over the years. They've lost 8 straight games here in this building, Billy, and are 3-19 all-time at Cameron. But you see the man on the left there, Kevin Cantwell. He was one of the few coaches in the last 15-20 years to win a game here as a head coach, as a non-conference opponent. He did it when he was the head man at Appalachian State, and they beat Mike Krzyzewski and the Blue Devils in here back in the 1981 season.
Well, and if you're the Duke people was saying, oh, we were off to a bad start, you got to remember 1991, they lost their opener on the road and came back and won a national championship. So let's see if that means anything whatsoever this year. And those crazies that did show up sure know how to do the cheers still, right?
Yeah, they got the playbook out on page 1, ready to go. Dick Paparo, Stan Rhodes, Sam Croft, the referees today. Newton and Alisma to tip it, and Chris Collins wins it.
How about that? 2 guys tipping off, maybe the 2 hottest players in the league right now.
In a game that features a lot of perimeter power, Newton and blocked by Alisma. So the 2 men that are playing so well heard from early.
Alisma tied a school record of 7 blocks this year. So not unusual for him to get up there and swat him away.
Cable misfiring on his first 3-point attempt. The team leader with 29 this season.
Marbury, like most of the new wave of guards, is an expert at palming the ball.
Marbury. Harper keeps it alive, but had to foul to do it, it appears. Nope, this one is going to go. Yes, indeed. It's against Matt Harpring, his first.
You know, Bob, I mentioned that because I want for fans to watch today the way that the ball is handled by the younger guards that are coming along now. It's actually an illegal maneuver, and probably something that's going to have to be changed in the rules, because they just can put you almost motionless with that ability to palm the ball in their hand and turn it over.
Inside Maddox. Harpring comes out of there with it.
Good passing.
And Maddox puts it in. Michael's first 2 of the ball game. That opens the scoring.
Well, we talked about the unknown, and Maddox would be an example for Georgia Tech. You know, who is going to show up at that position? We know that he's certainly capable.
He's had some big games against good competition. 18 against Georgetown, 13 against UMass.
Harpring on a switch on a guard. That's his 2nd foul. Again, the unknown. Here's a very consistent player, one of the most consistent players in the conference, and he's going to have to maybe sit after 1 minute and 30 seconds.
Indeed, Matt to the bench, and Gary Saunders, the freshman from New York, will come in to take his place, and Bobby Cremins goes right to him. Boy, that hurts. Here's Harpring.
Well,
he's been their most consistent player.
Right. They basically now both teams are operating with 3 guards on the floor right now.
Collins, way downtown.
Barry probably upset with himself. You don't want Collins to go off early with that 3-point shooting. Make him put it on the floor.
Drew didn't figure he'd take one from 30 feet.
Yeah, it was about 3 steps back.
Collins did not shoot it well at Clemson, Billy, on Wednesday night. 2 for 12 from the floor and 1 of 7 from 3-point range. That had to help his confidence. 3-2 Duke.
Nice pump fake.
And Drew Barry nails it. That's a 3-pointer.
Terrific pump fake. Surprised Capel ran out at him not under control on that one. Domzowski.
Collins. And and it's out of bounds.
Much better defense there. You know, under control. Force Collins to put the ball on the floor and go inside where he's much less effective.
Cable. That's a three. So Cable and Collins with a couple of home run shots to make it 6-5 Duke.
And let's see if Marbury tries to take Collins with the dribble. He's really got an advantage in quickness.
And Olisma is fouled by Domzalski.
You can see with these 4 straight double-doubles that Olisma has really picked up his confidence. I mean, you just wouldn't see him do this earlier in the year, and certainly not prior to this coming here. But right now, he thinks he's capable of putting some numbers up there and is doing it.
It's the first time that Eddie has appeared on the opposition's scouting report.
Exactly. You know, offensively, basically used to just, you know, stay out of the way.
Maddox.
Boy, guys are really going for the pump fakes, aren't they?
And a 3-second violation. Gives Duke the basketball.
Probably the reason for the 3-second there was that the players anticipated a shot would be taken. So they were positioning themselves for offensive rebounding. When the shot wasn't taken, of course, they're stuck in the lane. That can happen to them. A little overpassing.
Collins to the glass. Reverses. No. Marbury leads a 3-on-2.
Nice pass.
And Stephon had it taken down by Price.
Better block. Ricky can really get in the air.
Here's Newton. One of his rare misses that close to the bucket. Came in shooting 76%.
Well, there was a fumble, but not a double dribble.
Saunders off the glass, and that triggers the Duke break. Collins spins and leaves it short. Price got a piece of it. Still 6-5 Duke.
Well, that's a pretty smart play by Saunders. He held that ball, realizing Collins could come from behind him. It would have been a steal. I think that sequence put the little guys a little tired out here, didn't it?
Yeah, they're starting to walk the ball up the court. Next dead ball, there'll be a timeout. Here's Barry's runner in the lane. Sam Croft spotting the foul.
Smart play by Barry, putting it up off the glass. He really didn't even have a good shot there, but that puts him on the line where he is extremely effective.
The first foul against Jeff Capel this afternoon, and Drew Barry at 88-4 to the line. Had that Georgia Tech record of 33 straight free throws. Snapped back on the West Coast a couple of weeks ago on a loss to Bradley.
That 33 broke Mark Price's long-standing record of 31 straight.
Interesting, Barry Jacobs was telling me they can't find an ACC record because the Duke records are incomplete. They can't tell you here at Duke the records are missing what the longest streak for the Blue Devils is, so there is no official ACC consecutive free throw record. We'll continue with more from Durham in a moment, back after this message from Budweiser.
Well, we've seen an awful lot of good shot blocking on the inside. Drive down the lane. Newton goes up, gets it, sends Duke on the way to a fast break. Olisma on one end, Newton on the other, doing a good job inside defensively.
Newton, the team leader, with 16 block shots coming into the game. Carmen Wallace has entered the action for the Blue Devils.
Neither team very deep in the front court, particularly with Duke's case, with Moore leaving them with academic deficiency.
Carmen Wallace on the back, or is it?
I think Domzalski is going to get an opportunity to go the line.
Eddie with his first foul.
And that's one of the things that's so tough. You want to play some defense with some pressure, but if you don't have a bench, number one, you can't play them because stamina becomes a factor. And number two, when you play that aggressive defense, you are going to get some foul problems. And we see Georgia Tech already in that position, so it really alters strategy. You see what Dean Smith has done this year with a short bench, playing almost all zone. And really a big difference from what Carolina has played in years past, but I think a very wise coaching move.
Domzalski at 83% at the line, nails two. It's 8-6 in favor of the Blue Devils.
And that's the reason I think Marbury should put the ball on the floor and penetrate a lot. Try to get on that foul line and force Duke to go to the bench.
Short is Stefan with that jumper. And Carmen Wallace is there to cradle it. Plays bigger than 6'5".
Yeah, excellent leap.
Collins, the open three.
Second time today that Barry did not get out on him. He had plenty of room to square up and take that shot.
5 unanswered for the Devils. Lismo runs it down. Georgia Tech has struggled a bit on the road in true road games. Blown out at Kentucky and also at Georgia.
They've played a hellacious schedule in terms of not only on the road, they have not played a home game yet this year. When you consider the fact that the Thriller Dome is under renovation, they're playing their first game there against Virginia in mid-January. So they have played all their games technically on the road.
And for a while, it seemed like Cremins had nothing but home games. They were playing in Atlanta, in New York, and in Boone. Then he went back to Appalachia.
Well, they were home to him.
That's right.
Good feed by Collins.
Newton backing down. Second. Nope.
Well, considering Newton's percentage of late, that's 4 shots that he's missed so far today. Haven't hit one yet.
Well, Lismo.
Nice move.
Oh, you can just tell, Billy, the confidence factor so much greater.
Exactly what we talked about at the start of the show. You know, the guy that'll show that he can play with some confidence will be part of winning teams in the ACC this year. They're so closely bunched.
Price for 3. That was halfway in it came out.
Good hands.
Travel.
Wallace pretty creative when he goes to the basket because he knows with his leaping ability he'll be able to stay up in that air a long time. But he walked before he could ever get started.
Steve Wojciechowski coming into the ballgame now for Duke. Domzalski also returns. Matt Harpring got those 2 quick fouls early. He's back for Georgia Tech. And oh, look at Marbury. Just give Wojo a shot.
Well, they were teammates this past year in the World Junior team. And for Americans that think we dominate the world in basketball, our junior team finished 7th in the World Championships this past summer. Wojo was on that team, as was Marbury, as was Domzalski. And Langdon, who is not playing and will not play this year. So a number of players on that squad.
Harpring takes it, hits it, count the basket, and the foul as Marbury just shoved Wojo out of the way, and Sam Croft caught it.
Well, that's one of those ego trip fouls right here. Wojo has been brought into this game to defend and to spend some time, and there, without a question, Marbury let it get to him. He's got to understand, hey, look, son, you're coming off the bench as a sub. I'm leading my team in scoring. I don't have anything to prove against you, so why get upset? Georgia Tech goes, it looks like a little zone here for the first time.
Wallace. Long 3.
That was surprising to Bob Cremins. Again, the unknown. Here comes Wallace, comes in, hits a 3. I guarantee you, on Georgia Tech scouting report, they never said, watch Wallace when he steps out beyond 3. Never happened.
14-11, Blue Devils. That's a 2-pointer. Wojo saves it. Domzalski floats it in. Duke's first 2-point field goal of the game.
Pretty tough shot. Catching it on the run for a big man. Pulling up. And although there are not a lot of people here, they're making some noise per capita.
Harpring. And the foul. Wallace got him first.
A good move by Georgia Tech to punch it inside or to dribble penetration inside. Get on the foul line. Boy, that's so important in a league that doesn't have a lot of depth. And you look this year, remember, Bob, so many years we've been doing Duke basketball during their great run, and you would look down there and they would always be in a position where they made more free throws than the other team even shot. You look this year, they've made 168, and their opponents have shot 40 more. So, you know, a big, big difference compared to what took place in the past.
Matt Harpering, 78% at the line this season, knocks them both down. He's got 5, and there's an official's timeout here in Durham. 11:37 left in the first half. Back after this message from CarQuest Auto Parts. ACC basketball is brought to you in part by Toyota. Bob Rathman, Billy Packer back at Cameron Indoor Stadium. Stephon Marbury is yet to scratch in this game. Georgia Tech's leading scorer at 18-5. He and Wojo got a pretty good thing going, but right now Harper's going to come out front to guard Wojciechowski.
And Harpering picked up those 2 fouls in the first minute and 30 seconds. Let's see if Duke tries to pick up that third one on him quick. Wojo has got an advantage with the dribble. He should try to take him inside. Domzalski, left hand. Newton keeps it alive. And Greg, a little overzealous on that last try over the back of Juan Gaston. Greg picks up the foul. Pretty good block out by Gaston inside. Former great football player in high school. It's kind of interesting reading his little bio. He talked about, well, he liked football except for one thing, he didn't like the block. That's kind of scary, isn't it? Guy 230 pounds that was a receiver.
16-13, Blue Devils. Barry. And Nalispa had it knocked out of his hands by Newton. Collins, another open look. You put it right on the money there, Bob. Another open look. Now, you've got a guy that's their premier three-point shooter. 3 times today he's had wide open jumpers. Now go find him defensively. That just gets Collins fired up. Look at him out here playing Barry. Barry spins in. Nothing there. Out to Gaston. Worst shot in the game. 6 inches in front of the three-point line. Price open on the wing. Marbury out to cover quickly. Ricky throws it up and off. And there is Domzalski to tip it in. Bobby Crimmont's going to take a 20-second timeout. And what Georgia Tech should go to coming out of this 20-second timeout is Marbury with the ball, a clear out, and get him untracked. There's the drive down inside. Marbury has been content to give the ball up. He's been content to get back in a little push and shove match with Wojciechowski. They've got to get him untracked. 10 minutes into the game, you've got a guy that's your leading scorer and really has done nothing. And you'd think going in that you talked about, Billy, the quickness factor is going to be in Marbury's favor, no matter whether Collins guards him or Capel guards him. Yeah, exactly. And Wojo, of course, is the quickest and built best to the ground to handle a penetrating dribbler. He's in there now, but in any case, I think that you've got to have Marbury untracked and just get him going. Even set a screen for him. Set a screen to get Wojo off. Here he comes. And it's a travel. See, he is letting this turn into a mind game, and he's let it start right off, and he points to his head, and he knows it right away. I'd say Wojo is the best defender that they've got. So set a screen on Wojo, make them get a switch so he can get on somebody not quite as quick, and then take it inside. Mr. Marbury has seen a lot in 14 games. Pick and roll, nobody switches, wide open shot. 21-13, nice feed underneath. Olisma puts it in. Eddie Olisma for 2. Eddie with 4. Last year he doesn't make that catch. Correct. You know what? Does not make that catch. The guy's playing so much better. Great to see. He showed a little flash when Forrest got hurt, but nothing like this. Domzalski to Newton. Cannot get it to fall. Duke ball. Domzalski playing a lot more minutes than obviously that he would have played with more. He's going to sit down right now, but he's really hustling in there. Newton can't get anything to fall today. Domzalski keeps it alive. 3 taps. 6-point lead for the Blue Devils.
Harpering much slower than Wojo, but they're not taking advantage of that either.
And Newton floats it home. His first 2. 8-point Duke lead. Biggest of the afternoon.
Harpering trying to post up on Price. Price can handle him even though he's given up a couple inches there.
Now Marbury connects.
And with his ability to get up in the air, he can go over Wojciechowski if he can get inside that foul line.
Cable. That's a travel.
You notice Georgia Tech, like so many teams, force guys to go baseline knowing they're going to get weak side help and pinch them down inside. Worked perfectly that time.
Michael Maddox coming in for Eddie Olisma.
Now here's the matchup that Georgia Tech would want. It'll be Collins on Marbury. Wojo sits down. This is the best opportunity to get him going.
Harpering. Somehow squeezed it off inside, and another 3-second violation. Again, just caught in the lane that time. 5 turnovers for Tech.
Well, if you're going to make a pass that close to the basket, it ought to be to a guy who's ready to put it right up. Not a guy that has to then monkey around with the ball. Elsewise, you're better off just firing it back outside and readjust.
Cable. Maddox outlets. Marbury control.
It hits the referee, so it's still okay. And there's what I was talking about. Just send him to the hoop.
And Marbury tried to measure Collins. Couldn't come up with a steal. Instead, his second foul. You could see Stephon hanging out, waiting for Collins to turn his back. They just couldn't knock that ball loose without fouling. Timeout on the floor here in Durham. We will continue after this message from Budweiser. Duke, on the strength of a great afternoon on the offensive glass, constructing this lead that stands at 6. Duke has taken 12 more shots than Georgia Tech, and they've out-rebounded Georgia Tech on the offensive glass 9-2.
You know, both of these teams, in Georgia Tech's case, they're being out-rebounded by 2 a game, and in Duke's case, they're right at even. So it's a situation where neither team a dominant rebounding club. But Duke's certainly getting the advantage here today, as you pointed out.
Georgia Tech have been doing a better job in the last 6 games on the glass.
There was Wallace going up and keeping one alive.
Fouls on Newton.
Sometimes if you can't get the offensive rebound, but you can just keep it alive for your teammates up there, it's valuable. Now you can see Wallace kept it alive, and if Newton had been fortunate enough to have inside position, they've got an easy putback.
Our director, Lonnie Dale, was talking at breakfast this morning about the secret to Dennis Rodman, how he was able to tip that ball and just keep it alive. Another Georgia Tech turnover. 7:05 to go first half. Duke leading 23-17.
Marbury out of the game now. But Bob, one of the things bringing up the NBA, one of the things, and it really annoys me when people talk about kids are ready to come into college and then maybe they'll go into the NBA right away. Marbury is a great talent, but he has no clue as to how to play the game. Today he would, you know, if he were an NBA guy, he would understand who's playing him, when they're playing him, and be able to handle the mental aspects of the game. And that's what the years of college enable a kid to do. Beautiful pass.
And Matt Harpering puts it in.
Barry threw one of those the other night against the University of Maryland. It was just as fine a play as you can make. Looking one way, throwing down, threading the needle inside. Here he is, looking around. He realized where his target was right away. And if you've got a man that's led the league 2 years in a row with assists, just keep moving and keep your eyes open. He'll get you the ball. Nice play.
Drew should go on to join Muggsy Bogues and Phil Ford as the only men in ACC history to lead the conference in assists 3 straight years. Wallace, another 3.
That's the second time that Georgia Tech has not defensed just a simple pick and roll.
Blue Devils by 7.
Olisma, nice moves.
And Domzalski draws his second.
That's a good head ball fake. Little drop step. Watch him here. He fakes with the head, the ball, then a little pump fake. Goes inside. Terrific. I'm going to go back to something that you got me really upset about something today, okay? Yes, you do. You mentioned that the ACC does not have a record for consecutive free throws because Duke doesn't have a record. Now, since when does one school determine what the league has? I would say Duke just gets wiped out on that. Or you just say, you know, I've been thinking great shooters that have been at Duke. You know, guys like Bobby Verga, Christian Leitner was a great free throw shooter. Jack Marin was a great. Jim Spinarco. The fact that they didn't, yeah, but the fact they didn't keep records doesn't mean that there shouldn't be a record. I just wiped them out. That'd be like saying, well, South Carolina left the league, so you can't have a record. Come on, where did you hear that?
We will take that under advisement.
I demand that there be a record. That's ridiculous.
Capel baseline. Jeff's got 5. 28-22.
Good backdoor cut, missed it.
Harpering lays it in.
Well, there's where the 20 pounds that Harpering gained over the off-season really helped him. Much stronger player down in low. With the exception of the Georgetown game this year, you know, he's really played well.
4 double-doubles this year, points and rebounds from Matt. And there's another board. He's 4th in the ACC in rebounding is Matt Harpering.
Good job by Capel and Price getting back that time to stop the fast break. Again, not a palm because the hands were always above the ball. The fans wanted, even though it was a crazy looking dribble.
You can dribble it as high as you want to, as long as the hand's on top.
Clock down to 6 seconds.
And Ricky Price fouls Drew Berry.
How about that mental mistake there? You're in a 1-on-1 situation now. The clock is down to 7, and you're going against a guy shooting 88% fouls. The last thing you want to do is to foul him in that situation. Just hem him in on the sideline.
All right, now, you want that free throw rule record in the book?
Sure.
Who of the 8 other clubs, who would hold the record for most consecutive free throws made?
Wow.
Don't leave your hands out.
I'll have to think through that.
Front end missed by Drew. He's 1 of 3 at the line.
I'm going to say Charlie Davis of Wake Forest University.
No, sir.
Not it.
He doesn't even hold a Wake record.
I mean,
Collins for 3.
you're blistering me now. As Collins is blistering. Somebody needs to introduce Georgia Tech players to Chris Collins. I mean, he's had 4 wide open threes and buried them all.
Point Duke lead, tipped away and taken away by Domzalski.
Wallace is quick in there, isn't he?
Capel, wow.
Wow! That was a good 5 or 6 steps beyond the three-point line. You can't fault a guy for not guarding him out there.
The only three-pointer that was longer in his career was the one against Carolina last year that forced the second overtime. Capel with a steal. And Jeff's going to slam it.
Duke playing very well in this stretch.
Timeout, Georgia Tech.
Terrific basketball in their front. .353 left. Jeff Capel hits a 3 and slams Duke ahead by 14. See basketball into the new week, and we started on Tuesday at Cole Fieldhouse in the Terrapins and Florida State, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Johnny Rhodes and company waiting for the Seminoles, who almost pulled it out against the Deacons yesterday. But driving down, and I know we both had great trips getting in. Hour drive from Charlottesville, Virginia for me, and I listened to Woody Durham's outstanding call of that North Carolina-Maryland game last night. I mean, he called it almost to the point where you could see the pictures taking place, but a tremendous game up there, obviously, at College Park, and I did get a chance to see on ESPN the great tap play to Jamison for the winning basket last night. It sounded like it was a great game, however.
Here's Harpering. Outside Saunders. Melisma can't control it, but a foul is called, and it's on Domzalski.
Nice active work inside on the glass by Melisma.
Third foul on Taman.
watch that play, and of course we had Jamison against NC State earlier in the week. It's going to be a great battle between Marbury and Jamison, it looks like, this year for Rookie of the Year. But he may be as quick as anybody I've ever seen, being able to catch a ball and release it to the basket explosively to the basket. Of any player I've seen come into this league, it's amazing how he can do that. He didn't have but a 1/100th of a second last night to catch that ball off the glass from Calabria, and not only catch it, but then have the presence of mind to put it back in. Outstanding young player.
Eddie Lisma was 7, and it's 36-24.
For Georgia Tech with 3:23 to go, Bob, what they've got to do is just to stay in this thing, you know, keep it in that 10-point range, not get blown out right before half.
Another offensive rebound for Duke, but no bucket because of the travel. But again, there's Carmen Wallace.
They list him at 6'5", and he plays about 6'9". But he gives up a lot. If you can post him with some power down inside, that gives him a problem.
Harper. And it's a three-pointer.
He really has a great all-around game. He steps out, goes inside, pretty solid job defensively.
Two and a half to play in the half, 36-27. Wallace.
Not a good pass.
Got it back, though. Lost it again.
Just out hustling some people.
Through everybody's legs. And now Marbury brings it up. Barry.
Tough shot. Thought he got hit by the hands, and now Mike Krzyzewski's going to take advantage of his 122nd timeout and a half.
Well, you said Georgia Tech had to stay in it. Well, they've done that. A 7-0 run to cut it back to 7.
When you play on the road, just try to keep that game within your reach.
Nations Bank, a corporate partner of the '96 Olympics, presents this Olympic Salute to Excellence question. Who holds the world record for the most gold medals won in a single Olympic Games? Now, that's 2 you got to come up with.
No, winter or summer. See, that wasn't that question was not explicit enough.
Either. Mr. Rayburn tells me.
Okay.
That's 2 questions you got to come up with the answer.
Yeah, well, I know the answers.
How about the free throw?
I know the answers to both the winter and the summer.
Now, how about the free throws, consecutive free throws?
Now, well, you know, I hit you. You're driving me crazy with this one, okay? Because you do have me. I don't know the answer to this, and I threw Rodney Monroe at me just to see if you were on the ball, and you informed me he's second.
That's correct.
So, but you do have me. I do not know the answer to the question.
Capel.
Should have been a walk. How is it not a walk? Man with the ball falls on the ground.
I think Bobby Crummins is asking the same question downstairs.
That's the. Sure, he fouls and then he walks. And without question, that's a violation. I said they used their CNI dogs for sled dogs today to start the show.
Here's Capel. And Maddox clears. So Georgia Tech trying to keep this run going.
Important to take good shots here if you're Georgia Tech.
Well, Lisma wants it.
Don't give Duke anything easy and stay in this thing. They had a chance to be blown out. That's
nice screen. Great shot. Stephon with 4.
And even better yet, if you can get Marbury moving right before the half. So nice comeback by Georgia Tech here.
It was 36-22. Now it's 36-31. Collins. Capel. The shove to Newton and a foul.
Good foul, though. When you have a guy that's going to put one away for an easy 2, you foul him and put him on the line. Excellent penetration. Pass a little low, but that's a good foul.
And going to the foul line has been a problem for Greg Newton. At 57% coming into the game, and here's the kid, Billy, who leads them in free throws attempted. Well, you want your big man, if he's going to go to the line that often, to hit more than 57%.
Exactly. Another thing about Newton that's kind of interesting to me, when you take a look at you know, his great stats, a number of games, of course, this year, but he's had some games against the better competition where he has not put anything up on the boards whatsoever. And you know, that would bother you a little bit. He was only 6 for 6, or 6 points and 6 rebounds against Clemson. And his big stat games have been against the weaker competition.
And only took 3 shots at Clemson. 37-31, Marbury.
Duke goes zone. Marbury has great range on the shot. Now Duke should hold it. Capable of ready to fire. No need to throw that pass whatsoever. Mike Krzyzewski's got to be real upset with that. You've got yourself a 6-point lead. You get a good shot. Make the clock work to your advantage. There's a 2-second differential up there right now. I think Georgia Tech would be wise to hold it to the last shot.
Inside Maddox to the bucket. No. Slam follow for Elisma.
Big play. Boy, he's playing with so much more confidence.
37-33. Now Collins works it up.
And that was a mental breakdown by Duke on that throwaway by Capel before.
Elisma. Collins on the switch. They go to Newton, and he puts it home. And that's the half. Georgia Tech was on the ropes at 36-22. They closed the half on an 11-3 run. Point game here at halftime. Blue Devils 39, Georgia Tech 33.
ACC basketball is brought to you by Nationwide Insurance, by Ford, by Pizza Hut, and by Discus Athletic.
They saw Georgia Tech put an 11-3 run together at the end to close here at halftime to a 6-point game. Our nationwide scholar athlete for the week is Charlie McNary of the University of North Carolina, the junior from Kinston, with a 3.69 grade point average with majors in history and business administration. Congratulations to Charlie McNary, our ACC scholar athlete of the week. We will continue with more from Cameron Indoor Stadium. Duke by 6 at the half. But first, this message from Budweiser.
Georgia Tech 39-33. Let's rejoin Bob Rathbun and Billy Pack.
12 points. Jeff Capel hit 2 threes and scored 10 in the first half of play.
We talked about at the start of the game, you know, the keys to the basketball game, about the unknown. Now, if you're Bobby Crimmins, you come into this game, would you have anticipated that Stephen Marbury would be 2 for 7 with only 1 assist? Would you assume, if you're Mike Krzyzewski, that Greg Newton would be 2 for 8? You know, I mean, those are the kind of things that really give coach a lot of sleepless nights, and things are really not settled on a lot of clubs in this league right now.
Stephon Marbury starts the second half, making an early 3-point statement. 39-36.
And I thought Marbury, you know, it's good to let the game come to you, but he did not take over early in that first half when he had the matchup to do so.
Off the window, Domzalski with it.
Playing a solid ball game here today. Now that he's into that starting lineup, expect him to progress a lot quicker.
Starting to show some polish offensively, still though hampered with the foul difficulties. Domzalski playing 3.
I think game playing time will help him there. Now there's a foul, and that's what I talked about in the start of this ball game. Marbury has so much quickness advantage on Collins that he should put the ball on the floor, force Collins to play him on the drive, and Collins is going to have a hard time staying with it. You see Marbury pushed him away there. That was unnecessary.
Stephon snaps it off, carries another one.
Collins was on the ground, but then he can start working on Collins' mind a little bit, you know, because Collins has got a lot of pride.
41-39, Duke.
You start playing mind games as you build an experience.
Newton thought perhaps he had gone too far underneath, but angled back and hit the shot.
Collins was holding Marbury by the shirt and got by with it. Here he goes again.
And
another hold, see? This is exactly where Marbury starts to play with his mind instead of just his body. It was there at the start of the game. There is Collins. See, holding his shirt. Should have been a technical foul there, I mean an intentional foul there. But all he has to do is to put it on the ground. Collins cannot stay with it.
Coach K switches, puts Collins on Berry now, and Price on Marbury.
But now you forced Mike Krzyzewski to have a head move. So that's what Marbury will start to understand. Price is much quicker, but he goes right by him.
Wow. Marbury with 8 points to start the second half, and Georgia Tech with it too.
Screen on Harper, and he got out of position, and a great help by Eliska.
Hard bounce to Marbury. Back to Harper, and he throws it up and in.
We had 2 passes on that fast break that were poorly handled and still end up in the basket.
Like they say on Broadway, Billy, how'd you come out? It came out just fine.
And look at what the score is right now, Bob. Tie score, and as I said, Georgia Tech's plan and what they would hope for is to keep that thing under 10. Bobby Crimmins wanted to push the ball up, and here they find themselves, instead of down 14 and out of it, right in it.
Third tie of the game. Duke led 36-22.
And if you're Marbury, get the ball in your hands again. You've got the hot hand, make Duke pay for it.
Marbury again driving on Price. Off Domzowski.
Down to 7 seconds. You're going to have to go to the little 1-4. Pass. A little bit of a fumble. Behind the back, another fumble. And Harper puts it in. Terrific. There's another hold. See, they don't have a guy, more than many people, have a guy that can stop his dribble penetration. You just can't move your feet fast enough. Without question, that's a foul. The fans may be booing. And Price looks exasperated, but Marbury now, and there's Mike Krzyzewski. He's pleading with the referees, but he knows he's going to lose his case here. And he's created 3 or 4 team fouls already here in this second half in 3 minutes time.
Marbury picks it up.
He's got Collins again. Should have taken him with a dribble.
Maddox out of bounds.
He can take Collins right out of this game, not only with fouls, but with a little head game, if he'd have put it on the floor again. I really like watching these kind of mental battles in a basketball game.
Capel in and out with the 3, and Lisma claims another rebound. And Maddox hammered by Capel.
Complete change of events here in terms of the way the flow of this game is going. Pop on the inside. Good, strong put up. Maddox has got a body that enables him to play tough on the inside.
Through the glory years, of course, it was so rare to see a team come back on Duke in this building. We're reminded of the nightmare last year when Duke lost 6 home games last season, 1 more than they had lost in the previous 4 years combined.
We remember in the game last year, we had that ball game together, I believe, and there was that 10-point run that put Georgia Tech from way down to put them in the lead, and you thought Duke was going to lose another one. I believe at that time they were either 0-8 or 0-9 in the conference. That was, and Duke pulled that game out for their first conference win of the year.
For the first time since it was 5-3, Georgia Tech has the advantage. 44-43, Yellow Jackets. Collins for 3.
That was a good shot. Because he was guarded that time. A little screen on Berry, no help.
Berry tries to answer, and does. My goodness. Unlimited range. Berry and Collins.
What Berry is screaming over to Bobby Crimmins is, I need some help when they set solid screens.
Collins, offensive foul, and he almost got a technical for it, too.
If the official could have got his whistle in his mouth, that's a technical foul, but the whistle was at his shirt.
Tonight at 7 Eastern, Louisville and DePaul. Stick around, check that one out.
These teams played 3 times last year. Remember, they played in the Rainbow Classic, so Duke won that one. And Georgia Tech won at home, and Duke won in that comeback victory that we just talked about here. So Duke won 2 of 3 last year.
Very open for an instant.
He tried to call timeout.
And got it.
Yes, he did.
And Georgia Tech says that'll be a 20, thank you.
Oh, you know, that's one thing I don't understand. A guy calls a timeout, but does not signal 20. And then later say, no, I changed my mind for a 20.
While we have the 20-second timeout, friends, let's share with you our smart play of the week. And we go back in the ACC archives to the ACC tournament last year. And Mr. Randolph Childress had the most phenomenal tournament in the history of the event with how he single-handedly carried Wake Forest to the championship.
The guy who's having a phenomenal day to me is you. And I'll tell you why. I went at halftime. I have to tell the fans, I came up with Skip Brown.
Number 3.
He told me he's number 3, so I still don't have number 1.
If you're just joining us, the consecutive record for free throws made in the ACC. They don't recognize the stat. Here's Barry, blocked by Collins.
He was working against the clock there, had to take the shot. Good defensive stop by Duke.
Chris. Newton is there. The fake, the fire, and a foul.
Newton got off with a little bit of a push. Duke really fired up coming out of that timeout. That's a nut. He gave Collins the wide-open jumper, and every time prior to that today, he's been able to make that shot. Nice pump fake by Newton. And again, Bob, as you pointed out, Newton goes to the line more than anybody else, but he doesn't shoot them as well as anybody else.
1 of 3 now at the line today for Newton.
And I pointed out, as you mentioned, the game down at Clemson, 6.6 rebounds. Against Illinois, no points, 4 rebounds. Against Indiana, 1.2 rebounds.
I thought Mike Krzyzewski made an interesting point talking about Taman and Gregg. He said with the lack of experience, it's like we have 2 freshmen in the post. Newton averaged only 9 minutes a game in conference play last year.
And remember, the last part of last year, he sat out. So
right.
And Mike Krzyzewski did not coach the team last year, so I really agree with Mike in that regard.
The 4th tie of the game, even at 47. Maddox into the lane with the left hand. 5 for Michael.
A lot of guys stepping up for Georgia Tech and why they are in the lead. Maddox playing well, Lisma playing well. Newton getting aggressive.
Double figures for the 10th time this year and 7 of his last 8 games.
Well, he came into Duke as a very heralded player, and there's a push. Now, we start getting into payback time a little bit here. I want to go back to Mike Krzyzewski after that call on Collins. He called the officials over, which the official really shouldn't have gone over to him, and start talking into his head. And so now it's a little payback time. Maddox pushing off, but, you know, no advantage gained on the play. So a coach's job is all-encompassing. That one being working the officials here.
Price. Nice block by Saunders. Barry weaves his way. Great look away, and Harpring nails it.
Terrific job by those two. Of course, played with each other all last year and this year as well. Harpring went and posted up out at the three-point line, knowing that Barry will get you the ball in the right place. Good 2-man game.
Georgia Tech by 3. The Jackets trying to snap an 8-game losing streak here at Cameron and Durham. Price baseline, shut off, fades, misses. And Harpring secures it. And he is fouled by Wojciechowski.
That's the 16 foul, 6 against Duke, 2 against Georgia Tech. So they're going to be in the bonus here very quickly.
And 13:29 to play.
There's Price with his quickness, that great first step he has. Everybody pushing, and Harpring again, the solid all-around performer, getting that the defensive rebound.
Well, a little frustrating day for Ricky Price. He has come out of the Duke lineup, has not scratched in this game.
He has 2 games, 25 against Iowa, 27 against Monmouth, so you know he can be an explosive scorer.
Double figures and 3 straight coming in, but zilch today. Marbury again getting into that thing with Wojciechowski, and Wojo takes it away.
A steal off his chest.
Collins banks it.
Beautiful running jump shot there using the glass. But Wojo's the guy that made that play. Now let's see how Marbury handles this. Will he give it up or try to go back and attack?
Harpring, nice feed again from Drew Barry. Boy, he can make it look real good. Barry.
Yes, he can. And Harpring understands that and moves without the ball well.
Into Domzalski. 10 points for Taman.
Good put back. Seems that Duke is getting the ball into the low post almost any time they want to. Tech's going to have to pick that up.
Marbury, another 3. He had 4 points at the half. He now has 15. He's hit 3 threes in the second half.
He really froze Wojo with that little hesitate dribble.
Biggest lead for Tech.
There's the switch out on Collins. He recognizes.
And Saunders commits the person.
Georgia Tech has not handled the simple screen outside, screen and roll in the first half. Gave him trouble. A lot of people think of screen and roll play being something that has to be handled down in around the basket. An excellent job so far by Duke in the screen and roll way out top. Newton on the line again, and Duke is just getting so much. Here's that great steal. Wojciechowski goes right down on the floor, pulls it away, doesn't gain any advantage, and Duke goes the other direction. Eventually scoring on Collins' bank jump shot.
Now Greg Newton steps up.
Let's see what's going to happen. Were guys in the lane? Are they going to take it right away from him? Oh, I thought for a second they were going to say Duke was in the lane after the ball was in Newton's hands and eliminate the foul shot.
Well, Greg pumps that one home. Now Mike Krzyzewski talking it over with Dick Paparo.
I don't think it's ever a good move for a referee to talk to a coach unless he's talking to both coaches.
Tipped into the lane, and Wojciechowski out to Collins.
Harpring with another rebound.
They're not going to take it away from him. Georgia Tech leading by 3. Harpring barrels in, and they got a charge and a block. Oh, my.
They got one referee has got the charge, one has the block. Who had the first whistle?
And now they're going to get the coaches together.
Uh-oh. Yes, sir. This is going to be interesting, but that's what they should do. They have a reach in. They have a charge and they have a block, and now you have 2 coaches. No matter, and Bobby Crimmins lets them know what he thinks about the call.
And they'll get to think about it during the break with 11:47 left in the ball game. To this for Budweiser. King Solomon, they have decided that it is going to be a double foul. Harpring gets his 3rd. Newton gets his 3rd. Here's another look.
Here we see. Boom. Now, what's the call to start off with? I think it's a charge. But one official called it a block. One official called it a charge. Almost simultaneous whistles, as you pointed out, Bob. So they go to King Solomon's rule in the rule book. I guess that's section 3.
And on the alternating possession arrow, the ball will go to Duke.
Giving Wojo that outside jump shot. Let's see if Duke continues to pound that thing inside. He's really been successful. There it goes. Nice defense on the perimeter.
Domzalski. Harpring control.
Harpring has had 4 or 5 key rebounds in the second half. Nobody stays with Marbury.
And Stepan scores.
Most dangerous guy in the game of basketball is a guy with a ball in his hands. And there you have a leading scorer, the ball in his hands, and everybody left him.
5-point Georgia Tech lead. Stepan has got 17 now. And we've got a foul on Harpring, and that is number 4.
Now, one of the things that's taking place right now, and the referees are trying to get some balance, but they're not having a good game. And there you see, there is the foul, the push. He did use his lower body, and they're going to try to pull this thing back together. We've got a real experienced crew out here, but they're having one of those games where things not falling in place.
And Saunders holding Collins on the way by.
So what we have is an adjustment period here. Bobby Crimmins.
So Saunders with his fourth. He joins Harpering with 4 personals. He's going to force the hand, or will it, of Bobby Crimmins.
Well, remember, it was 5-0 fouls in favor of Georgia Tech to start this second half, and now it's 7-7.
Collins to the line, shooting 1 and 1. First opportunity at the line in the new ACC season.
Chris shooting 75% from the foul line. A solid performer there.
He's got 19. His season high 30. That came against Iowa in the Great Alaska Shootout. 3-point game.
Duke giving Lisma the ball. He's wanting it.
Barry out to Saunders.
They're playing a little matchup zone on him right now.
Got to find where number 3 is.
Yeah, see, they're playing a little matchup zone. Harpering out of the game. Got him on the elbow. Three shots here. Yes, he did. Hit him right on the elbow on the way up.
This will give us an opportunity to discuss once again the ACC record for consecutive free throws.
Right, watch this. Right on the elbow. You can stop. No, I'll make a crazy statement here. I can guard Michael Jordan if I'm allowed to hit him right there.
That I would pay to see.
If I'm allowed to hit him on the elbow right there on the release of every jump shot, he'll never score. It is incredible how you can hit a guy in the wrist sometimes, but if you can hit him right on that elbow, just as took place right there, you can prevent a guy from ever making a jump.
Now, when Michael goes end to end to
I'm
shoot
not
the
talking
ball,
about the dunk. I said as he goes over the top of my head. But it's incredible how that can just completely eliminate the jump shot. And a good piece of officiating there caused the foul. Doesn't have to be a big hit, just a touch.
2 for 3 goes Marbury. You ready for the end?
No, on the next foul, I want you to fill that up. Georgia Tech hanging in there, up 5.
Collins. Newton inside. He'll shoot.
That was an excellent fake with the eyes by Collins. You know, he looked right at it. It looked like he was going to do something else with the ball. Faked with the eyes, the head, and went by.
Number 24,
Michael Maddox picks up his 3rd. He's already fouled out of 4 games this season. And Newton goes back to the line.
And that's an area where Georgia Tech really has problems. They have to, both of these teams do for that matter, when they've got to go to the interior with subs.
Newton 3 of 6 at the line in this game. And he hits the first one.
It's clean.
All right, here's the answer.
All right.
ACC record of the 8 schools that can contribute. Jeff Lamp.
Jeff Lamp of Virginia. Saw him yesterday, and he's still in great shape. They had a great celebration at halftime yesterday. Brought back the '76 ACC championship team, and so many other guys came back. Sampson was there, and Jeff Lamp was there. Boy, all those guys look like they're in great shape. Mark Ivoroni. So Lamp is the guy, huh? You had me on that one.
Here's Barry. Stolen by Collins. Ahead to Price. Boy, he just explodes down the floor.
Terrific catch on the run. Here comes Marbury right back at him.
Nice dunk.
And there's a case where the zone, the little subtle change into the zone defense has thrown Georgia Tech off.
Collins. And Alyssma clears
Got a
to
chance
Barry.
for a break.
Maddox back to Barry. They'll set it up.
Good way to go ahead and beat that zone back down the court. Let's see if they stay or they go back to man-to-man now. Back to man.
Long three. Short.
Boy, this game has really had a different flow. Although, Duke had that great run in the first half. Georgia took them back. Now it's Duke seemingly gain some momentum here.
Well, Newton looks like he could use a blow. Price.
Got to make that shot. Breakdown in defense by Georgia Tech.
Marbury down the lane to Olisma.
Terrific play by Marbury. When you've got that ability to hang in the air a little bit longer, the play can develop after the fact.
63-60.
I think, Bob, you pointed out something very important. Look at all the guys bent over right now, very tired. Not a lot of subs here. So it's the team that's going to be able to suck it up here in this last 8 minutes. Coaches are going to have to use some timeouts. Guys are tired.
Marbury pops out. Again takes Price into the lane. (63-60) Georgia Tech. Collins off the handle.
Watch, Price is going to go up with him.
And Berry will shoot.
I thought Price would go for the block. He's the kind of leaper that has the ability to go up and smack that away. Boy, guys are really tired. Here goes Berry. He went after the ball down low. I think he really could have gone up and got a piece of it up.
So Harpering with 4 fouls comes back. He was on the bench for 3 minutes and roughly 20 seconds.
It's a lot of time to play in this game. 7 long minutes here. Guys are tired, and some key players with foul trouble.
Newton goes out. Wojo in for Duke. And Berry to the line. 10 points for Drew. Georgia Tech is 27 of 28 at the line in that Maryland win on Wednesday. 7:34 left in the ball game. 65-60 Georgia Tech. Again, our Nations Bank question. The individual that holds the world record, the number is 7 in
Mark
the single
Spitz.
Olympics.
Mark Spitz.
All right. Ta-da!
Oh, I got another one. And Eric Heiden in the winner, I think. They didn't say winner or summer, but if they just said winner, I think it's Eric Heiden that's got the winner.
Congratulations. 65-60 Georgia Tech.
I'm hitting on the Olympic questions, and I can't get the basketball questions. You're too tough for me.
And
hand check.
Berry. That's the first on Drew.
One of the things, again, and Mike Krzyzewski made that subtle move, going zone a little bit. That may be an answer for Georgia Tech, too. A little bit of zone here. They've got a long time to go. Their guys are really starting to break down defensively because they are tired. And then the last thing they can afford is to have Harpering out of there because he's got 4 fouls on him, so he's got to play a long time here in foul trouble. Maybe he could protect them in the zone a little bit.
Jeff Capel, his first opportunity at the line today. This will be a 1-1. 77% at the line this season.
You mentioned Georgia Tech hitting 27 of 28 free throws against Maryland, which is incredible. New school record, obviously. They were 23 for 26 against Louisville and 22 against Campbell and 22 to 25 against Louisville. I mean, those are some great numbers from the foul line. You'll win some ball games that way.
And yet they're under 70% for the year as a team.
I know it.
Go figure. 65-61 Georgia Tech. And Capel puts in number 12. Close games all around the league in the first week. Today, no different. Yellow Jackets by 3.
You see, Duke goes back in. They showed a little zone down inside. Matching up out of it. A little match-up zone. Gives them a chance to get a little bit of a rest. Obviously, it doesn't mean you can relax because you still have to play hard-nosed defense, but it's not like banging around the man-to-man.
And Drew Berry.
That's what you give up. And particularly a team that's shooting as well as Georgia Tech is. They're shooting almost 70% here in the second half. Georgia Tech stays with a man-to-man.
And Newton, the push by Elisma. That would be his third.
Nobody came back in to help Elisma. Georgia Tech has allowed Duke to get the ball in the low post without any problem at all, and it's really hurting them.
Shooting 2 at the line for Duke, number 55.
So once again, here's Greg Newton back to the line. His 9th and 10th free throw opportunities of the game.
Crowd very silent here. So strange to be in this arena, seeing it less than half full. The miserable weather outside is the reason for it. Harper with another tough rebound.
One story in Atlanta, Matt was quoted saying, "I like to get rebounds." And boy, does he go out and do it every night.
That's the antithesis of Gaston saying, "I don't like the block."
Really.
You like a basketball player that likes to get rebounds, and you don't want a football player that doesn't want to block.
Harpering a three. No. 2 Jackets on the deck.
Lisma.
And Eddie off the glass.
And what made that terrific job keeping the ball alive in the offensive glass, which is what Duke did early in this ball game, find themselves now down 7.
And the Blue Devils have called a timeout with 5:55 to play. A 7-point lead for the Yellow Jackets. 70, Duke 63. The Yellow Jackets, the masters of unpredictability, coming into Duke and have a 7-point lead. Great shooting from the outside here in the second half. Wallace.
He made one in the first half. There's that good rebounding again. Elizabeth keeps it alive. Harpering was headed down the sidelines, and he thought Berry would get him the ball.
20 seconds on the shot clock as Georgia Tech calls the play.
You know, that last timeout was called by Duke. Mike Krzyzewski having to call a timeout, get his team back in it, but it helped Georgia Tech a lot because it gave them the breather without having to call it.
Saunders with 8 on the shot clock. Buries a 3.
Well, the coaches have no idea who's going to step up. There's Saunders hitting one. Duke in serious trouble here.
Lojo for 3. Wallace follows. Misses. Newton is there.
Maddox has been sitting with foul trouble. Bobby Crimmins could go back with him now. Under the 4-minute mark, he needs to keep this margin.
Harpering. Wall is right in his shirt and blocks him on the baseline.
They're calling hand checking very closely in this game. Players starting to realize that now and taking advantage of it. Now, one of the things, you see that? That one was with the knee. So guys put the ball on the floor. Always a good idea to find out how the referees are going to call penetration with the dribble. Berry kneeling down at center court. Right in front of him is Marbury, who's, look at how tired they are.
Matt Harpering with his 20th point, the 8th time he's hit that offensive plateau this season.
Berry had a little flu going into that Maryland game, but played extremely well. Maybe that's kind of a carryover from a couple of days ago, but he's putting out.
Capel carries it out.
They've changed their defense now.
Harpering got some help from Elisman. Eddie rebounds.
Off and running. Saunders with some fresh legs almost beat Duke down. And they're using up about 20 seconds each time. Semi-curl delay here by Georgia Tech.
Elisman trying to pull Newton out away from the basket. Setting those high screens.
Harpering thought Berry was going to go behind the back pass. You're getting a lot of tired fouls now. But Newton just couldn't get out there.
And that's the 4th on Greg.
Watch this. Newton been moving. He just can't get there. He realized he committed the foul right away. Raised up his hand.
And that will send Drew Berry to the foul line.
Fatigue makes cowards of us all. You remember that statement? And that's what happens.
Shooting 2 for Georgia Tech, number 10, Drew Berry.
Well, you talked about Drew with the flu. Well, he's had his share. bumps and bruises, injury problems the last couple of years. A broken bone in his foot, injured ankle, had a back injury in the preseason. So he's had his share.
Remember the Georgia Tech club, and it was really a shame. They came down the wire with James Forrest with his injury, and then Barry with his. And Brennan came into the ACC tournament with the opportunity to move forward, but the guys tried to play and just couldn't make it work.
Price.
Put it up again.
Same result.
One was short, one was long. They've got to get something going from the outside here. Down 11, hard to believe, isn't it?
Boy, Duke led at one point in the late in the first half, 36-22. Looked like Georgia Tech was going to get blown right back to Atlanta.
Well, Georgia Tech, with that very difficult preseason schedule, could find themselves in great shape with 2 conference wins. Lismo way up.
And I'll tell you what's golden, will be golden this year in the conference race, road victories.
Exactly.
Carolina with a big one last night.
Sure, Wake Forest with a win down at Florida State. Florida State with a win at Virginia, right?
Yes.
Really playing hard out of the perimeter. Duke looking like they want to use the 3-point shot. They were so successful going down inside.
Cable. Price. Now from the right side of the floor, he hits it.
I'd like to see that. You know, he missed 2 in a row, but he's got to show that he's positive. Show some confidence.
76-68. Boy, what energy Duke has left. They've got to lay it all out there now defensively, but Marbury puts it in.
Wojciechowski tried to get that ball after he went by him, and you really have to try to stay in front of him as best possible. You give him an alley, and he just blows by. Kind of like Allen Iverson up at Georgetown. I mean, those guys are just quick on quick.
Silent in the first half. Price coming to life here late in the game. And that cuts the Georgia Tech lead to 7. 2:13 to play here at Cameron. We'll return after these messages from the Atlantic Coast Conference. Will come your way from College Park, Maryland, when the Seminoles and the Terrapins have at it. 8 p.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday. Duke trying to get back with threes. Price has answered. Duke has 1 full timeout remaining.
Trying to go full court pressure. Tough to press when you got a Barry and a Marbury back there. However, they're usually pretty good with that ball.
Georgia Tech shooting an unheard of 59% in this building.
You're talking about a Duke team that used to hold people below 40 in some of these key games.
Marbury. Stephon with 23.
And with right hand. It just shows that he's got the full complement of moves. Oh, beautiful.
14 for Jeff.
Now they're calling these timeouts to stop the clock. But, you know, I think Duke should go right back out onto the floor. Did he use a 20 on that one?
Took a 20.
Yeah, you took a 20. Go right back out on the floor because you want to keep Georgia Tech on that floor as much as possible because they are tired. Excellent shot by Capel. He's got that ability. We've seen him make that run in one-hander before.
From a lot of different spots on the floor.
Excellent basketball game here today.
You know, one you can really sink your teeth into.
A lot of different things going on. A lot of guys stepping up. Some of the key ball players you'd count on having good games like Harper. Step out of bounds. Nice play. Somebody's got to come to immediately meet it. That's 5. That should have been 5.
And Capel with the foul.
See, the count, when you throw it over, you don't get another new 5. So the man held the ball, and then he had it for a second or so, then passed it to another man who had the ball. So the clock should have kept running. I mean, the count should have kept going. And there's an automatic foul.
The announcers for this game selected and compensated by Ray Cowan, Jefferson Pilot Sports, and the use of this broadcast without their express permission is prohibited. Eddie Ellis Lisma, just 41% at the line. But 3 of 4 today. Flanks this one.
I'm going to ask a question. If Eddie Lisma is shooting 41% from the line, why would he be a guy that catches the ball in the inbounds when you know the team wants to shoot? If you run him down the other end of the floor, make sure he can't be fouled.
Put him down there with the photographer.
Sure, that was not a smart play. You want the guys to receive the inbounds pass that are your best free throw shooters, not your worst.
Minute 20, and Drew Barry with the hand check.
You also do not want a seasoned player to make a foul at this time in the game.
Putting Duke on the line for 2 with a minute 20 left.
See, if you commit the foul, you stop the clock, you put the other team on the floor. We're seeing a lot of mental breakdowns here that can cost you a ball game.
Number 3, Ricky Price.
Now Ricky Price steps up. 1 of 2 at Clemson Wednesday, 65-8 for the year. He can do it, Marbury, but this guy Price from 2 different venues. He can either score on the perimeter and the quickness to penetrate. Tipped out, Duke ball. Harpering glass to touch.
Now Barry thinks he's taking the ball in bounds. He doesn't realize it's the other team's ball. They better get adjusted. Nobody out. Oh, a big breakdown by Georgia Tech.
That makes it a 3-point ball game with a minute 10 left.
Mental breakdowns here really costing Georgia Tech. Get that ball in Marbury's hands.
And Wojo right up on him. Shot clock hits 10. Marbury up and in.
That's the play. This game doesn't have to be brain surgery.
82-77.
Just some basic breakdowns here by both teams.
Collins trying to hit Wojo for 3, but Barry intercepts.
Make sure now, just hang on the ball. Barry and Marbury, the only guys should touch it.
And the foul with 19.4.
Mike Krzyzewski up off that bench.
At the line for Georgia Tech.
There he goes,
Number 3, Stephon
right up in the
Marbury.
air. Now, if you're Duke University and you realize what's going to happen, why not go out and double team Marbury and make him throw the ball to somebody else? Don't allow him to go out there and isolate on Wojo like that, because you know he's going to put the ball on the floor and penetrate. Maybe take the guy who's least likely to take the shot from the outside, like Saunders. Let his man release. Double team on a Marbury.
23 second-half points for Stephon Marbury. 84-77. And a timeout on the floor with 19.4 to play. Georgia Tech has had only 1 field goal off its bench today. That's the 3 by Saunders late. But they have 2 guys over 20. Marbury with 27. Harpering with 21. Collins, the Duke leader, with 19. Blue Devils with 4 in double figures.
Well, Georgia Tech, of course, came off that Maryland game with 3 guys hitting over 20 points in the ball game. Barry joined them in that ball game.
Georgia Tech has not won here, Billy, since January 29th, 1987. Their last win in Cameron. 8 straight losses since, and 3-19 all time.
Yeah, that's right. 19 losses in 22 games. Just another way to put something of total dominance by Duke. But today, Duke's got themselves a real problem. They've got to hope that fouls are missed and that they can convert some threes.
Interesting note, last year Duke lost all those close games. In games decided by 7 points or less, Duke was 2-11. This year they're already 0-1 after the loss at Clemson. They trail by 7 here with 19-4 left.
And here you see Georgia Tech picking up full court. The reason for this, of course, is to make Duke take a lot of time, and then they commit the foul. Can you believe that? Bobby Crimmins sets up full court. He cannot believe what happened, and the reason for that is not to steal the ball, not to force tempo, but to force Duke to take seconds just to get it over half court, and then there is the foul.
Here's a look at our MVPs for the game. Stephon Marbury with 27 in the spectacular second half. And Collins, who hit 5 3-pointers and 19 today. Chris Collins, our Duke MVP. Food Line will make a $1,000 donation on their behalf to the ACC's Operation Outreach Fund, which benefits deserving middle schools throughout the ACC region.
But I think we had one of our 4 keys at the top of the show is the coaches not knowing of the unknown, and there is the perfect example. I mean, you know, a great piece of coaching by Bobby Crimmins said, hey, look, we'll go full court on them, guys, you know, occupy a little bit of time here on the defensive end, and he goes out, 1 second goes by, and the guy fouls. I mean, just exactly what you don't want to happen. And you wonder why he's got white hair, huh?
Yeah, really. The sophomore from Maryland, Steve Wojciechowski, trying to go 2 for 2, and he's got 84-79. 2-possession game, and Harpring hammered by Price.
See where Elisma is on that play? 95 feet away from catching that ball in bounds, which is where he belongs.
Georgia Tech has hit 16 of 24 at the line, and Harpring will step up to try to nail it down.
We go back to your stat. 16 for 24 is not exactly tearing it up. They're coming off a ball game where they make 27 of 28.
Right.
So they could have this game well put away if they would have shot anywhere near what they did in some of the games earlier this year. Bobby Crimmins goes back on if they're made free throws, goes back full court pressure. With 16-3 to go, and he makes this. Look at no fouls. Oh, a tough life, isn't it? You wouldn't think you'd have to tell him that.
23 for Harpring. 86-79. Cable missing. Here's Collins.
He got fouled.
It's on Maddox.
You know, there's 7-4 to go. Let him have the layup.
Number 24, Michael Maddox, his 4th personal.
Let him have the layup. Don't foul him.
So, even if he hits the free throw, though, Billy, it still is a 2-possession game. So Duke's still behind the 8 ball.
Yep. Well, how about at this point, down 5? Why not try to miss this one? You know, why not? Yeah, why not put it off the rim? He did. That's what he tried to do.
The bounce, though, went to Harpring.
But I don't think he let anybody know. And if you're going to try to miss it, not off to the side. Try to miss it off the front of the rim because your guy is in the 2nd position. So he has a chance to step right out and get the rebound. You put it off the side, it's going to the guy that's got the inside position. And everybody's got to know it's something you got to practice. But it was at least theoretically a good idea. Because as you pointed out, it's a 2-possession game, or was.
And Harpring can just about end the proceedings here with 2 free throws. His season-high 24 against Manhattan and at Georgia. This would be point number 24 if he hits it. 6th leading foul shooter in the ACC. His first miss after 6 straight successes. This is 2. So,
not a lot of time to be passing it around.
Collins hits the 3. I think they waved it off. It matters not. The ball game is over, and for the first time since 1987, Bobby Crimmins and Georgia Tech has won at Duke. The final score, 86-81. We'll be back after this message from Budweiser.
ACC basketball was brought to you by Bell South, by All Sport, by Food Lion, by Continental Airlines, by Advance Auto Parts, and by Nations Bank.
Georgia Tech moves to 2-0 in the ACC atop the standings with the Tar Heels. And a fine win for Bobby Cremins and company. And this man Marbury was outstanding.
Excellent win. Great comeback when they were down in that first half and could have been blown out of here.
And thanks to our crew, a tough setup on a hard weather day. Thanks, fellas. You've been watching exclusive coverage of ACC basketball on the Raycom and Jefferson Pilot Sports Network. For Billy Packer, Bob Rathman, so long.